Hello everyone, this is Zach Weiss, co-founder of Warner Wound. I'm here at Watches and Wonders 2024 in Geneva in the Ressence booth, and I am joined by Benoit, the founder, designer, lead engineer of the brand. Benoit, it's great to see you. How are you?
Thank you, welcome. I'm good.
So could you just tell everyone a little bit about Ressence, like why you founded the brand,
All right.
what your theory is?
So my background is industrial design, so I'm not a watchmaker. At the start, I became it a bit by doing it. The reason why I say this and why it's relevant is because the way our watches look is very much defined by the fact I look at watchmaking with the glasses of a industrial designer. And it translates into very obvious things, like for example, there are no hands on our watches. It's kind of coplanar discs, sets of discs that are all in the same layer, on which we have hands. There are reasons for that, ergonomical reasons. But what you also will notice is that a Ressence watch looks very simple, and actually it doesn't. But the reason why we do this is because we believe that the function of a watch is not to show its complexity, it's to show its function. And the function of a watch is to express time. And so how can you do that in the most clear and possible way for a mechanical watch? And so what the basic idea that where it comes from is that I used the logics of a digital screen, but I made it mechanical. Because a digital screen is a dynamic. It changes, it can change the information. That's why you have a screen, otherwise you have a paper. Take that logic, but then make it mechanical.
Makes sense. And so you're famous for your ROCS system.
Yeah.
Could you explain what that means?
What that means?
Yeah.
We call it ROCS.
ROCS.
The idea is that ROCS is actually a system, so it stands for Ressence Orbital Convex System. Convex because the dial is not flat, it's a curved dial. Some watches have a more curved dial than the others, but they're all curved. They're curved for emotional reasons, very important. Your relation with the watch is a very important aspect. When you think of a product, it's the interaction is a very important aspect. So if you make your products a bit more organic, you suddenly have a lot higher appeal to it. Let's come back to the ROCS itself. So basically it's a system that displays the time and is based on the minutes. So the minute disc is the main disc. And inside that you have the hours or the weekday or the seconds, or we have watches where we also have the temperature of the oil, because some watches have the oil inside, or you can have the time zones that you're working in. So there are different functionalities that we can include into this ROCS system.
Something else, obviously, that is, I think, very important about your design language, actually, it's ergonomic, it's about legibility. It's also playful.
Yep.
How does play and kind of color come into this concept?
Color is an extremely strong communication vector. A lot more than text, a lot more than digits, a lot more than anything, a hand even. If I would tell you, if you would learn, instead of learning the hands on a watch, instead of knowing this is 9, this is 10, this is 11, I would tell you this is red, this is green, this is blue. It would be a lot more efficient to read the time. Would it be colors instead of numbers?
Interesting.
Because your brain immediately perceives a color, even a lot faster than even reading a digit. So colors is not only to make it nice or playful, it's also a functional thing. For example, why do you make a blue dial? Can you explain me? No. It's just nice because it looks blue. But if you have it here with the mix of colors, what you will see is that we have every time dimension has another color. And the colors are not just chosen like that. We took the more contrast the color, the more important the time dimension is for you as a user. For example, the blue is the most striking color for us, and that's the minutes, because usually you know the hour you're in. So when you check a watch, you usually check for the minutes. Your brain searches for the minutes. And that is also why we used the ROCS system is based on the minutes, because that's the main disk. That's usually what you're looking for as a user of a watch. And then the less important the time dimension is. For example, the weekday is already a lot less contrasted, and the seconds even is yellow on white, so it's really difficult to read. But because you don't need it so much. So it's also that we try to apply, and it looks nice, it looks funny, it looks playful, but actually it's very functional.
But then with something so like a sage green, is there a theory or a concept behind that?
Well, the sage green is a bit different. With the sage green, we wanted to, because every watch has his focus point, has his point of interest. And for the sage green, the idea was really more to put some emphasis on the fact that our watches are very organic. And so if you have a fully black or a fully white, because the other colors for Type 3 are white or black, it's not so natural. Whereas this color feels very natural. It's this is a color that you could take out of nature. You could find a pebble in the river with this color. You will not find a pebble that is perfectly white, and you will never find a pebble that is perfectly black. But this color exists. And if you combine that with the shape of a pebble, you get to something that is very, very natural to you. And when you wear the watch, when you wear it on a daily basis, you will feel that this color it feels very natural to you. We have this association with natural things. We have a stronger relation with them. When we design a watch, we usually first start with designing the relationship with that watch. Before we design anything, we think of, okay, how do I want this watch to interact with me? What is the context in which I'm going to use this watch? Why do I need these informations? Are they important to me or not? And etc., etc. So we always think from the user, and then we develop the outside, the skin, to end with the movement. So we have a very different approach to watchmaking, where usually you have watchmakers that are at the source, at the core of the brands. And for them, the movement is very, very important. We do exactly the opposite. We hide everything you don't need to know when you want to read the time. I don't say these watches are simple. They're very complicated. But you only get to see what you need to see when you check your watch. And that is maybe the best way to explain why Ressence is very different than what you see out there.
So where does Ressence go from here?
From here? Actually, well, that's our long-term vision for us, is that actually what I did, I developed I made it a circle, and on that circle you have different dimensions. They're a bit secret, so I will not tell them all, but we have different dimensions, and these dimensions are dimensions in which we want to have Ressence, because they are coherent with the brand, the DNA of the brand. I'll take one: sport. So we have our Type 5 that would fit. I have design. Now you take, for example, the Type 3 is a more design watch. And so we have different dimensions. We have like 8. And so I'm filling up the gaps in the years to come.
That's fascinating, and very exciting to hear that there's new terrain to be explored for Ressence. Benoit, thank you so much.
Well, I thank you for your support. And I hope everyone likes Ressence, of course.
I'm sure they do.